3 lives taken away senselessly. Didn't make sense.
Yvette Wim says she was out here Wednesday night when 3 men were shot and killed on Monument Street in East Baltimore.
He leaned over and died. He was so young. He was one of the Safe Street workers. Good young man. Cleaned up in the neighborhood. And they had a little brotherhood, where they start working together to change things around here.
She's talking about Safe Streets worker Deshaun McGreer.
Wow. Another Safe Streets member killed. I've done so many of these this year. I try to keep you guys abreast of the activists that get killed, the activists, advocates, community leaders that get killed around the country. I think I do a good job staying on top of it, more so than any other channel, because these are the people on the front lines doing the work that everyone says needs to be done, that everyone says is so effective. Now, my motto, I don't think it's effective at all. I think it accomplishes absolutely nothing in the long run. Yes, it gives the brothers, it makes people feel good like they're making a change, and it may save 1 or 2 people, divert them, I guess, but it's millions and millions of dollars these programs are getting and tons of man hours, and the crime is getting worse. However, as I always say, these people are incredibly brave. I mean, incredibly brave. I'm not going in these communities, no sir. To do that, to try to squash beefs between rival crews and talk to young son teens and be on the block with them in the trenches trying to, direct them and give them guidance. It's a thankless job, and one of them is more likely to kill you than thank you. But yeah, man, Baltimore, this is the 3rd member from this one program. I think this might be the 4th, because there was a little girl I did a story on. But anyway, I think she might have been in the program and not an activist, but that Safe Streets program in Baltimore, salute to y'all. Y'all really in the trenches. Y'all really doing the work on the ground. And it's evident that 3 of y'all have been killed this year, in the past calendar year.
She's talking about Safe Streets worker Deshaun McGreer. McGreer talked to 11 News outside the courthouse after former Baltimore police officer Arthur Williams was sentenced for assaulting him in August of 2019. That incident was caught on cell phone video.
I give him credit for that. I've used this video several times. This video of this brother getting beat up by this cop. Yeah, this cop beat the brakes off, bro. Damn, I can't believe that's him, man. I didn't know what the story behind this beating was, but this is like a video that I've used several times in my videos, because sometimes police snap, man, and it seems like this policeman have snapped on the wrong brother.
An exceptional man. They all were exceptional men.
This woman, who did not want to give her name, says she grew up with the victims and came to the scene to put up this memorial. She tells us one man was known in the neighborhood as Nut, another as TJ.
When I had nothing, they made sure I ate. They made sure I wasn't thirsty. They made sure I had money in my pocket. When I had nothing. So when I come around now, they congratulate me. They say they proud of me, and I was proud of them. It's just unfortunate.
Shantae Jackson, director of the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, which oversees the Safe Streets program, issued this statement, writing, Safe Streets Baltimore is overwhelmingly heartbroken over the loss of Deshaun. He was well respected by his community and worked diligently to shift the culture of violence in East Baltimore. Safe Streets is not just an organization, but a calling. The mayor's office says it's working with its partners, Living Classrooms, and Catholic Charities to provide counseling to the Safe Streets staff. Lisa Robinson, WBAL TV.
A mass shooting in the city. 4 people were hit and only 1 survived. A terrifying night in East Baltimore. Hello, everyone. I'm Vic Carter.
And I'm Denise Koch. Welcome to the News at 6 and to those of you streaming this evening. Now, the victims include a young man who worked for a program to prevent bloodshed on city streets.
Police have yet to make an arrest in the case. Officers first responded after a shot spotter alert on a busy part of Monument Street.
WJZ investigator Mike Helgren, he's live at that scene right now following the latest developments. Mike.
Denise, Vic, we've seen an outpouring of support for the victims. You can see some of the balloons that have been set up here in a makeshift memorial. Now, one of those victims you mentioned worked for a violence prevention program, Safe Streets. Their office is just about a block from here on Monument Street. You can see there was a quick succession of bullets. They knocked out some of the windows here on Monument Street.
12 rounds.
It sounded like a high-powered rifle.
It's getting crazy. It's getting out of control. And we're asking the city to do something and to get help for us.
Do we own anything in our communities? I mean, anything. It's the darndest thing. It's the darndest. I hit one if you think that I'm just tripping by highlighting this every time I see it. Well, not every time I see it, but from time to time. Because the neighborhoods like this, these stores are very profitable. You have a lot of people not at work. People are in, like, it's not like everybody wakes up in the morning, goes to work, and then they're gone all day, then they come home late, and then they put the kids to bed, and then they sleep, and they do it all over again. Like, people is out and about in the street, hanging, milling around. There's a trade, a drug trade on the street. There's a there's even if you just think about cigarellos, just off cigarellos and top papers, bamboo, and beer. You can make a fortune, but the snacks, the t-shirts, the socks, chips, ice cream, toilet paper, paper towels, wave caps, bonnets. It's a fortune to be made in these little stores. And in our community, we don't own any of them.
It's getting crazy. It's getting out of control. And we're asking the city to do something and to get help for us.
Rapid gunfire that witnesses say sounded like it came from an automatic weapon rang out just before 7:30 Wednesday night on Monument and Port Streets in East Baltimore. 4 people were shot, 3 of them died. WJZ has confirmed that Deshaun McGreer is among the deceased. He's a violence interrupter who was on duty with the Safe Streets program at the time. Safe Streets uses people in the community to mediate disputes before they turn violent. The deaths have stunned those who knew the victims.
It's sad. It just needs to stop. They was nice guys. They weren't really nice guys. They didn't bother people. I mean, the killing is crazy. It just needs to stop.
Living Classrooms, which runs the Safe Streets program, says McGreer was at his post when he was shot, and they do not believe he was specifically targeted, that the violence was directed at him.
Now, I believe that. I can believe that he wasn't targeted. Because when they come through, man, and you kind of got to, like, you guys know from watching this channel, but when they come through, there's no regard for anybody. And you can tell by the amount of children that get shot, women that get shot, elderly people that get shot. You see you can tell the stray bullets that go through people's homes and hit them while they're in the bed and all this stuff. So you pretty much know that. When they come through, there's absolutely zero regard for who else gets hit other than their target. There's absolutely zero. They don't care at all. I mean, none. Zero, less than zero care. And as in this case, there's no suspects. You know, you don't have to care when you know that you're not going to get caught. Or you think you're not going to get caught. Because sometimes they do get caught, but
Living Classrooms, which runs the Safe Streets program, says McGreer was at his post when he was shot, and they do not believe he was specifically targeted, that the violence was directed at him. They say he was a beloved father, passionate about making his community safer. McGreer was also the victim of a brutal beating at the hands of a Baltimore police officer in 2018 that made national headlines. The officer served time behind bars for the attack that left McGreer hospitalized.
It's not a handgun, you know?
Hassan Ahmed was inside his business next door when he heard the shots. He tells me there was a police car already parked across the street.
Do you feel scared for your business?
Yeah, I feel scared.
He remembers another one of the victims, known as TJ, and posted a tribute to him on Facebook.
When he saw a problem between two persons, he tried to fix it. He paid from his pocket to fix the problem. I'm very sad about what happened.
Man, shout out to TJ, man. You know, TJ too, man. He was out there doing... These people are brave, man. In Baltimore, in the hood, the trenches, mediating disputes and getting in the... And the guy you're talking to one guy about like, yeah, man, let that stuff go, man. You need to, you know, we talked to them and they said that they let it, and while you're talking, some other guys he got beef with come up and then you get shot and you die.
Do you feel scared for your business?
Yeah, I feel scared.
He remembers another one of the victims, known as TJ, and posted a tribute to him on Facebook.
When he saw a problem between two persons, he tried to fix it. He paid from his pocket to fix the problem. I'm very sad about what happened.
We'll miss you, TJ.
And another live look at the memorial, the balloons for TJ. Both the mayor and the police commissioner have condemned the violence in statements, but neither one was available or answered any of our questions on camera today. Reporting live in East Baltimore, Mike Helgren, WJZ.
For years, we've heard a lot about the impact Safe Streets had in reducing gun violence across the city. Well, now for the third time in a little more than a year, the group is mourning the loss of one of their own.
One of their own workers was among those killed in last night's quadruple shooting. WMER2 News' Kendall Green with new details surrounding that worker's death.
We've seen them work, celebrate, and mourn. And now they're mourning again after one of their own was killed by the same violence he worked to eliminate. A Safe Streets worker among 3 people killed in a quadruple shooting in East Baltimore Wednesday night. It's a blow to the city's flagship gun violence reduction group, a blow they've all felt once before.
Baltimore knows better than anybody how dangerous this work is and how valued the people that do this work.
Danger. Safe Streets worker Dante Barksdale died hoping to eliminate. Barksdale, who leaders of the organization called the heart and soul of Safe Streets, was gunned down on January 17th last year.
And yes, this is that Barksdale. He's the nephew of the guy who David Simon based The Wire on. Loosely based on this guy like this guy. I think his name was Nathaniel Barksdale. And he's a real Baltimore street figure. And David Simon, the creator of The Wire, based that storyline of the Barksdales family on that guy's real life. Avon Barksdale and all that. That whole storyline, that's a real guy. And this is the real guy's nephew who, you know, was in the streets but then turned his life around and became a Safe Streets activist, violence interrupter, and he was killed in cold blood. His killing was targeted. He was murdered in cold blood. It wasn't like collateral damage. The guy who killed him was trying to kill him.
Barksdale, who leaders of the organization called the heart and soul of Safe Streets, was gunned down on January 17th last year. 367 days later, Deshaun McGreer, a Safe Streets East worker who folks in the neighborhood called Nut, was gunned down in a quadruple shooting Wednesday night. McGreer made headlines in 2018 across the region after being beaten by a Baltimore police officer. This viral video showed then Officer Arthur Williams punching and tackling McGreer.
We consider a great deal more evidence, which is what we were able to present before the grand jury.
The officer was sentenced to 9 months in prison after being convicted of second-degree assault and misconduct charges.
He was a contributor, a positive contributor to society, and for him to be shot down like this and killed, he was a good one. He was one of the good ones.
Attorney Warren Brown represented McGreer in the case. He described him as an empathetic and devoted father who cared about the people in his community. In fact, his encounter with that officer years ago was a result of him selflessly interrupting violence in the neighborhood where he grew up.
He tried to intervene in that regard and calm things down between her and the police officer.
Even after getting justice, McGreer stayed planted in hopes of becoming an agent for change in his city growing in desperation for safer streets.
He could easily have, after the settlement, moved out into the suburbs, if you will, but he still decided to spend time in that community to help out as much as he could, and it cost him his life, and that's a tragedy of it all. Him trying to do good cost him his life.
Yeah, man, he got a huge settlement from that beatdown from that cop. I mean, I can't even show you that beatdown. That's just how bad it was. But I put a link somewhere in it. I put it on my Patreon. Okay? You can go to my Patreon to see that. Okay? Man. And most of you are, hopefully some of y'all already signed up. I just started it. But yeah. He had got the guap. Could have moved out of the house on the hill. He was dedicated to his work in the neighborhood. And I can't fault that brother, man. Look, man. He probably, thought it was making a difference. Or he probably thought it was needed more now since the crime rate has exploded and the murder rate has exploded. So he probably didn't think it was making a difference because crime has gone up exponentially. Murder's gone up exponentially. But maybe he thought that, look, it's kind of like the ship is taking on water and you're sitting there with a bucket. Scooping it up and throwing it overboard. But it's you against the ocean. And we know the ocean's going to win. But it was worth the good try, man. God.
He could easily have, after the settlement, moved out into the suburbs, if you will. But he still decided to spend time in that community to help out as much as he could. And it cost him his life, and that's a tragedy of it all. Him trying to do good cost him his life.
McGreer and 2 others died from the shooting, and as police investigate, members of Safe Streets are left to try and make sense of their tragic loss. Anyone with information is encouraged to call police. Jamie and Kelly.
All right, thank you, Kendall. Well, tonight, Shantae Jackson, the director of the Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, which oversees the Safe Streets program, released this statement. Safe Streets Baltimore is overwhelmingly heartbroken over the loss of Deshaun. He was well respected by his community. He worked diligently to shift the culture of violence in East Baltimore. Safe Streets is not just an organization, but a calling. Staff are feeling more determined to work aggressively to engage communities suffering from gun violence in the wake of this loss.